Hello everyone, I'm FMZ and welcome to episode 22 of Resurgence with Sheffield Wednesday. Today we take a look at a roundup of matches we've had since we were last together. We take a look at one new signing who I'll introduce to you, as well as an update to what happened regarding the Crystal Palace job. If you enjoy this content, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, leave me a comment if you've got anything to say. Also, don't forget I'm a member of the FM Creators community and the Passion for FM team. The link to the Discord servers is in the description. Before we get to those results, let's take a look at the news we have. So our first bit of news is that we will not be taking over at Crystal Palace. Sam Allardyce has been chosen to take the club forward. In fairness, he has got a lot more experience than I have, so it was really a no-brainer for the Crystal Palace board. I'm a little bit disappointed, but at the same time, we are looking at opportunities perhaps elsewhere. Perhaps we'll stay. I guess we'll find out in the summer. But the issue on the right-hand side of midfield has been solved. We have brought in Brandon Borrello from SE Freiburg for a fee rising to £900,000. He is Adam Reach's direct replacement. Obviously, you can see he can play a flat midfield. He can also play that attacking midfield role on the right. An Australian international, potential to be a 3.5-star player. Great acceleration with 16, off the ball of 14, work rate of 15, pace of 14. A player who can improve. Obviously, with the rating, it's only a half-a-star improvement, but he could still improve, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can offer. And we start with the game that followed the match with Huddersfield Town. The link is up the top for that one, and it was a fourth-round replay against Brentford, and we got the better of them. 2-1, the final score. Let's take a look at the goals. Marcus Force put Brentford in front on 23 minutes. Thompson with the ball on the right. Manages to get it into the middle. Neat little header. Goalkeeper probably should do better for 1-0 to Brentford. Jack Clark equalised just before half-time. A mazy run beyond Benrahma. Still going into the penalty area. Has the initial shot. Saved by the goalkeeper, but slams in the rebound for the equaliser. And he won the game for us on 76 minutes. Bannon into Green. He will swing it wide for Kimura. There is the touchdown to Clark as another one slotted nicely into the corner to send us through to round 5 of the FA Cup. Following that, it was back to championship action and a trip to the Cayenne Prince Foundation Stadium to take on QPR, and then we lost by the same score. We beat Brentford 2-1. Let's take a look at the goals from it. We took the lead in this one. Barry Bannon from the penalty spot, slotting it nicely into the opposite corner to where the keeper dived. QPR were level on 17 minutes. Manning with the ball into Lichtsteiner, who headed it into the net for 1-1. And they won the game on 75 minutes. Bright Isaiah Samuel with the goal. Walker with the ball in the middle. He will run towards the bar line. There's Isaiah Samuel, who sent the ball into the far corner with a header to give QPR all 3 points. We followed that up with a 1-1 draw with Reading. Let's take a look at the goals from it. Ben Osborne opened the scoring with 9 minutes to play from a corner. Nice volley into the net, and I thought that was it for us. But we rescued a point in the 93rd minute. Borrello with his first goal for Sheffield Wednesday since joining us in the January transfer window, as he gambled at the far post to give us a point. We then followed that up with a 3-0 win at the New York Stadium against Rotherham. Let's take a look at the goals. The Young Bucks doing the job for us today, starting with Conor Gallagher. Ball in behind, kind of played a bit of pinball, but Gallagher sent it into the net for 1-0. Mason Greenwood made it 2 on 58 minutes. Jack Clark playing it towards Barry Bannon. There is Matt Penny on the left-hand side. He will swing it into the middle with Greenwood nodding it in for 2. And Jack Clark himself rounded up the win with a third goal off the underside of the bar from the header as we won 3-0 away at Rotherham. We made it back-to-back wins with a win at home to Millwall. Let's take a look at the goals. Took a while to get going this one, but Mason Greenwood put us in front on 68 minutes. Moses Adebayo with the ball down the right-hand side, playing it into the middle. Green off the post. Greenwood reacting quickest to put us in front before Borrello made it 2-0 on 82 minutes. Barry Bannon into Green, swinging it wide for Borrello with a nice header from near enough the edge of the box. A great finish that, as he starts to repay his transfer fee and gives us the win over Millwall. Finally, This time around, we have beaten Luton Town, and comprehensively at that. 4-0 the final score. Let's take a look at Mason Greenwood's hat-trick and the goal from Victor Mongill. The demolition job started on 17 minutes. Camorra with the ball on the right in the pouring rain at Hillsborough. He will send the ball into the middle. Mason Greenwood profiting from a bit of lacklustre defending for 1-0. We made it 2 on 50 minutes with Victor Mongill's goal sliding in for number 2. Then Mason Greenwood took over from that point. 58 minutes the next one. Good first touch from him there. Getting beyond the 2 defenders. Racing towards goal before sliding it nicely for number 3. And he completed his hat-trick on 74 minutes. Green with the ball in the centre of the park. Playing it towards Camorra, who will slide it across into the middle. Greenwood with a nice tap in for number 4. And finally a win over Luton. But we landed back to earth with a bump at the Liberty Stadium as we were beaten comprehensively by Swansea City. Let's take a look at the goals. Emile Smith-Rowe put us in front on 7 minutes. Green with the ball on the right-hand side. Smith-Rowe playing on the left this afternoon. Swung in towards the middle. Nice tap in there for Smith-Rowe, but that is as good as it got for us as Swansea took control. Byers with the ball out towards Florent. Into Selena, who gets too much space before beating Wildsmith in the goal. And then Obafemi took over from that point as he completed a stunning hat-trick starting in the 40th minute. Martins with the ball on the right-hand side. He will play it in towards the middle where Obafemi gets above everybody to put Swansea in front. He scored his second goal of the afternoon from an attack from our perspective. Van der Horn sending it long down the field, but there is Obafemi coming through beyond the defender, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and slots it nicely into the net for 3-1 to Swansea. And he completed his hat-trick with 10 minutes to play. Florent sending the ball into the middle, unmarked at the far post, sliding beyond Wildsmith to make it Swansea 4, Sheffield Wednesday 1. And last time out, our FA Cup journey ended at the hands of Stoke City. Kevin Lasanga with the only goal of the game. Let's take a look at it. And it was heartbreaking with 8 minutes of extra time to play. After dominating the game pretty much all the way, Lausanne put the ball into the net to send Stoke into the quarterfinals and us out of the cup. So onto the competition screen we go. So the FA Cup journey has ended. That is it for the cup competitions this year, although we did progress further in both competitions than the board expected us to. That's a bit of good news for us. And we've had some good news in the championship as well. We are up to 11th. The gap to the playoffs is still 10 points. But it is a bridgeable gap from here on in with 10 to play. West Ham have already secured at least a playoff place. It will only be a matter of time before their promotion back to the Premier League is secured, although they have lost a game now. Bristol City beat them, but they're on 97 points, so we can forgive them that. Then come West Brom on 79, a 10-point gap to Middlesbrough on 69, then Bristol City on 66, Queen's Park Rangers on 64, Reading on 61. They are the team that we are looking at, homing in on, but there are 4 sides above us who are thinking exactly the same thing. And obviously Swansea are level on points with us as well. Incidentally, Crystal Palace are down in 15th place, so Sam Allardyce is having a wonderful time at the Palace. Down at the bottom, Rotherham are bottom on 19, are almost certainly going to be heading to League One. And then it gets a bit more interesting from there. Luton on 24, Lincoln on 25, Charlton on 25 also, and then a massive gap to Millwall on 38. So it is probably going to be 2 from 3 down at the bottom. I cannot see any of those sides getting as many points as they need to catch Millwall up in the first instance. So everybody else above Millwall is now safe. Now, ordinarily what I would do when I do a roundup video, I would do the following game and take on Wigan Athletic. We are not going to do that. We are going to play the next 5. We are going to drop back in for Bristol City because it was a humdinger at Ashton Gate. And realistically, that is probably the point of no return. With that game, we have 15 points available to us from that point. So if we haven't closed the gap to the playoff places down to a minimum of 6 probably, we are probably not going to make the playoffs. So there is the next point for us to come. Failing that, if we do manage to pick up a result against Bristol City and we are within striking distance of the playoff places, we will come back for the match with Hull City following that. So that's a bit of a roadmap for you as to where I'm looking to head at the end of the season. But it will all depend on what happens in the games in between. We have got some massive matches coming up. Middlesbrough, who denied us, obviously, making the playoffs last season by us shooting ourselves in the foot in the process. Charlton should be a fairly easy one, although they are fighting for survival down the bottom. Wigan have probably got nothing to play for, as have Crystal Palace, as have Stoke City. So, realistically, we need at least 2 or 3 wins from that. Ideally, it would be 5 from 5, but it's not been that sort of season for us. I think the furthest we've gone so far is 3 wins on the bounce, and then it's all come crashing down around us. So we'll see what happens. We will come back regardless for Bristol City, because as I've mentioned, that is probably the point of no return for us. If you've enjoyed today's video, please leave a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel but would like to do so, please click the subscribe button down in the corner. Don't forget, if you've got any comments to make on today's video, please leave them below. Also, don't forget, I'm a member of the FM Creators community and the Passion for FM team. The link to the Discord servers is in the description. That was episode 22 of Resurgence with Sheffield Wednesday. I will see you next time. Until then, thanks for watching. Goodbye.